All right, are we recording? All right, let's get into this. What am I going to talk about today? Why exactly I prefer self-checkout over dealing with people. Yeah, kind of an odd topic, but I'll explain. Freedom Phil, like and subscribe, and hey, turn on the video speed. Why do I say that? Because you watch videos faster. Let's get into it. Over the course of my life, I've had situations off and on where people double scan things or the service is crappy. And I realized at some point, not just in, grocery stores or businesses, but in wait staff and all that, and I'll do a separate video for that, that I'm better off doing it myself. I'm better off ordering on Amazon or whatever site because it just shows up at my door. But even in that, there's a certain amount of crap that I've dealt with. Earlier today, I went to the grocery store, figured get a few things, celery, a few other this and that's. And as I was doing the checkout, I got my earbuds in. And I noticed something looks a little off. I'm like, why is it $3 more than it should be? Little part of the story. At one point, even though my earbuds were in, I heard the older checkout lady there teaching the younger one. And because the younger one said, hey, I think I double scanned that. And she said, and the older one said, don't worry about that. That piqued my interest. And then I'm sitting there looking at the thing of the list of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, this isn't right. And so they weird scanned a couple things. And then when they checked out, the cottage cheese was right, but they double scanned the celery. Now, the older chick that was training the younger chick, she probably thought my earbuds were on. And then I wouldn't notice. I looked kind of tired because I, took a good mountain bike ride that morning. Me plus my dog. I had a lot of extra weight on there. The thing that I really can't stand about a lot of these situations, and by the way, I looked through and I'm like, yeah, you double charge me for celery, is here's one part. Everybody behind you looks at you like you're a fucking asshole when someone's trying to screw you. Now, I don't give a shit about their problem if I want to make sure it looks good, but I also don't want to have to be that guy that every time I go to a grocery store, I've got to look it over. Yeah, I don't want to be that guy. And I never have to be that guy when I do self-checkout. I've had times where, I remember this was Lexington, Nebraska. I was buying, $100. I was parked the truck there in the parking lot of the Walmart. And it's very common because that place gets a lot of truck traffic. I don't know if it's still the case, but it was just a few years ago. Great place. There's a little fitness joint, a laundromat, and a Chinese buffet. And then there's the Walmart right there. Across the freeway, there's actually a Nebraska Land truck stop. So I go in there and I'm buying everything that I'm usually buying and then some. And I decided to get a pair of shoes. And when I was doing the checkout, before there was self-checkout there, I don't know if there is now or not. It looks a little high. I'm going through it. I'm like, you double charge me for the shoes. Oh, sorry. And when you see those people, like a young kid, and you know that they're just doing it because they look at you. Like people will look at, I don't give a shit what people say. People will look at some people and they'll just think, hey, I can get one over on them. And in that case, what's your recourse? You got to make a scene. You talk to the manager, and then hopefully the fucking manager, if it happens too often, fires the motherfuckers. But no, a lot of times they're, if the best, you catch it before it happens. This kind of goes into like gas stations and stuff or small stores. I've had people shortchange me, and I didn't realize it right at the moment, but then later I realized it. And people are like, well, that's your fault. No. It shouldn't be my fault that someone else is a fucking asshole and a criminal. That's the truth. They're a fucking criminal. The person that knowingly double scans something just to be a fucking prick, they're a fucking criminal. The person that double scanned the shit, criminal. Got another story for you. This is why I don't go to Papa Murphy's anymore. I know the size of a family-size Chicago pizza. I even had a little measuring tape out in the van. and the super extra large. And they give me, they're like, well, here's your pizza. And I'm like, and I was sitting there. I look at them like, this isn't family size pizza. In fact, they had just made a family size pizza for another person there. And I'm looking at this going, I walked out with the pizza, didn't make a scene, got those little measuring tapes. I'm like, dude, seriously. I showed them the picture online, and I'm like, it's this big. And they're like, whoa, the tray is that big, pizza. I'm like, dude, you just made me a large pizza. You have no idea. And by the way, there's tip jars. Let's get into why I hate fucking tipping jars. Because you want me to tip, but I tipped before they even started making the pizza. Put in a buck or two. Yeah, I understand people working hard. This fucking Peasley little bitch that I could have snapped with my bare fuck. I could have grabbed him by the throat and crushed the life out of him. He's all doing his little smirk, and he looks over at the girl next to him, and they come to a little chuckle. And I already know some fuck shit is going on. What did I do? Didn't do anything. I showed up, and I don't fit the perfect demographic, or you just felt like, hey, we can fuck with you because we can fuck with you. And the truth is, to some degree, they can't. Just like someone who drives down the street and says some nasty shit. I don't know who the fuck that person is. I don't even know how they know who the fuck I am. They're just an asshole. It's the fact that we have people that never evolve out of fucking middle school. I've said it before, and I'm saying it again. They never get past middle school. And the cheesy shit they do, I get it. You're miserable at your fucking shit-ass job. You're the one choosing to live that life working that shit-ass job. I don't know. Did you fuck your life up by having too many kids you can't afford to feed? Did you buy some bunch of shit you can't afford, or did you get the wrong degree? That's not my fault. I'm just a guy in there trying to buy a product. I get sick of the shitty service. I get, people that do this thing, you're talking to the other guy that's talking to you, and then some other motherfucker does the watch thing where they look at their watch. Hey, dickhead, it's a service industry. And when I used to do garbage, when I used to move garbage for a living, I never forget that line. We were at a safety meeting, and they're like, look, you guys got to remember, anybody can take their trash to the transfer station, but we're selling service, and courtesy is free. It doesn't cost you anything to be a decent person. And what I'm getting at with this is when I deal with people that are frankly just shitty people multiple times throughout the course of my life, it is not unreasonable for me to say I would much rather serve myself. I would much rather go to that automated checkout deal, because when I scan it, I know I scanned it. I scanned it once, and if there's a problem, I'll figure it out real quick. I don't got nobody trying to get one over on me because their life fucking sucks, or I don't fit into their whatever the little small town fucking, Kabbalah gang bullshit. You know how small towns are, or big cities have some of the same shit. I prefer to serve myself. In fact, I'll cover the restaurant shit right now. There's been times I went to restaurants like buffets, and I order a drink. I'm in the bar. And people will spike my drink, I don't know, vodka cran, because it's kind of sweet, it's kind of sour, kind of good. And people put it as these chicks were chuckling behind me. And I'm like, I don't know what their deal is, I figured it out later. And it happened not more than one time. For a while there, I didn't know what was going on until I was listening to, the little morning radio show, and this woman said, yeah, if we got a customer that comes in, and we don't really want them there, we don't kick them out, but we'll mess with their drink, mess with their food. You know the inhumane thing about that? Especially when you tell all these guys, well, we need people to go out and work, keep society going. Oh, pro-American, blah, blah, blah. When you treat enough people like shit for too long, what ends up happening is they do become a misanthrope, like myself. They get to the point where it's like that, have you seen that Skeletor shorts? Skeleton, remember, where he says, when you've dealt with enough bullshit, when good shit comes along, you're instantly skeptical of it. I was like, oh, sweet Jesus, that is absolutely correct. I've been to places where I would leave like a $5 tip. I ordered more than enough food, and maybe because they saw my van, oh, bad for business. And there's a lot of that. I kind of do understand that, because let's be honest, for instance, on a bar, Women are the bait to get the men with the big wallets, to catch the big fish wallets to come in there. So if you got a guy who doesn't really meet the clientele, you should just kick him out. But sometimes you can get sued for that. So you fuck with people instead of being real with them. I've dealt with waitresses that were just fucking bad waitresses. And this is why I actually prefer buffets. It's not just because I like, I want to eat till I'm full, okay? I'll pay a little extra to be able to get exactly as much as I want. What's the fucking point of going out to eat unless you're absolutely satisfied? And I deal with these waitresses that are just one more barrier in the way of me getting what I want. And what do I mean by that? I can fill my own coffee cup. You give me a craft of coffee, we won't have to talk. You leave a little bucket over there where I put the plates in, we don't even need you to go pick them up. All you're going to need is someone to walk by after people are done and wipe down the fucking counter or the table. I've dealt with enough times of the service industry being shitty to the point where I'm like, I don't want to deal with any of you motherfuckers. Let me talk about Amazon for a second. Amazon hasn't been rude to me, but we got this one UPS chick. I ain't hitting on anybody. Look, I'm solitude. I'm good with my solitude. But they deliver the package, you pick it up and you say, hey, thank you, have a good day. What's wrong with that? And the bitch has the nerve to say, mutters it under her breath. Yeah, now I'm walking away from you. The fuck did I do? And at this point, I'm kind of like, that's where I get to the point where I look at the world and go, if all I'm going to get is shit from the rest of these fucking worthless ass let's be honest, you are low performing individuals. You are fucking trash compared to what my people can do. Why the hell should I even treat you as human? I should only treat you as servants beneath me, crushed under my foot. Because a lot of times people have tried treating you people like decent people, courtesy, basics. And what do we get in return? We get shit. And I start, when the more I deal in this sewer that is the working class, the lower class, the welfare class, the poors, the more I understand why the 1% fucking hate you. Because I feel like Prometheus, stuck in a Meeseeks complex. But I see the people fucking up their own lives, and instead of it just taking a moment to think, hey, maybe it's me, that's the reason that I'm dealing with this situation, and I can improve myself. No, you just shit on anybody you think you can shit on. And this comes back. This is why I'd much rather deal any day of the week, any fucking time, any fucking day. I'd rather deal with an automated checkout system. I'd rather go to a buffet where I serve myself and maybe they walk by and pick up the plates. That's all I want to fucking deal with. I don't want to deal with a bunch of people. Oh yeah, and you all expect a tip. Especially at a buffet, for God's sakes, or a restaurant. So let me see if I got this right. You fuck up my order, or you can't even keep the ice water full, or you have an attitude the whole time. I will admit I was a fucking asshole this time. When that chick was the way she was, I left her tip. I'm like, hey, here's your tip. And I put down 2 pennies. She got so pissed. She fucking took the pennies and threw them at me. I'm like, I dodged, bitch. But it's because the woman was a fucking sour bitch. I didn't need to deal with her shit. I didn't even need her there to do anything. She was in the way. And the same thing with checkouts. And you know why a lot of places don't have self-checkout? Because you get unsavory demographics that be stealing shit. And that's why we got to go back to the checkout stand gulag. No, I want the world to work faster, stronger, better. And it's like, all I'm saying is that I do better for myself than I could ever do dealing with the common ones. Anyways, I don't even know why you need a chat, and I ain't even fucking reading any of that shit. Not to be rude, I just wanted to record this. Peace.